Whoa, that's a really cool look. Well, when I pulled up my camera and started recording, it was really green. I mean, maybe I could color correct this or color grade this or whatever to look greener, but this definitely corrected quite a bit. It is very smoky out there. You can't see very well. Well, if I open the door, show a little bit. Yeah, that still looks pretty smoky. Nasty stuff. Okay, that lighting isn't so bad. I'm in my car, parked by the street, by the building, by the sidewalk, this way and that way. So if people walk by, and if I pause, like, there's people walking by, I feel weird and bad and self-conscious, everything, that's why. And it's smoky outside. Middle of winter, everything is burning down, climate change, it's nuts, and it's crazy. Okay, I think this is something new that I'm going to try. Well, something that I want to get more into and something I want to do more often and actually get into, which is talk about the movies that I'm actually seeing. To actually talk about the new releases and new movie theater releases or even streaming releases with movies that I just recently saw. Just getting my thoughts out and something of a review or something of a quick review, first impressions, whatever it is. And actually do like at least one of these a month is my brand new goal. To actually talk about movies and put this type of video out on my channel and try to keep fulfilling the movie topic part on my channel and whatnot. So to do more of these review type things, like either right after a movie or in my office, nice and all set up with my camera and such. But I'm gonna go ahead and just record this in my car after having seen The Suicide Squad. There is now a difference. Suicide Squad from that other director, you know, with Jared Leto. Now we have The Suicide Squad from, there are cars coming by, and I keep seeing the car headlights in my rear view mirror. I'm like, ah! Okay, now we have The Suicide Squad from the James Gunn, none other than the writer and director of this, James Gunn, from the 2 Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and now Volume 3. What else has James Gunn done? Well, he's done plenty of other movies before all the Hollywood stuff. Has he done anything between Volume 2 and The Suicide Squad? Anyway, that's from James Gunn. Just seems like a great, phenomenal filmmaker. I love his work. I love his humor. I think I'll talk about anticipating into this movie. I was anticipating into this movie just like everybody else, and just like everybody else, I wasn't very pleased or happy or anything with the first Suicide Squad movie. It was just weird and just didn't work that well. Jared Leto didn't work that well. Jared Leto is a phenomenal actor outside of that one movie, which pretty much every actor has their 1 or 2 movies are just, no, that's not the role for you. No, really, really bad. Anyway, that was him. That was the Joker role for Jared Leto, as we all know about. Anyway, okay, back to looking crazy, talking on camera. Okay, The Suicide Squad. It was good enough. It was decent enough. It's not bad. It's not badly made by any means. Really good scripts, really great direction. James Gunn went balls out practically with this movie in multiple senses. I mean, maybe not literally or whatnot. He went for it with the R rating, obviously, and he just went for just all kinds of stuff going on in the movie. But just all the crazy action sequences and crazy stuff with like subplots, well, not like subplots, but different things going on at once, and kind of the new ensemble of characters. I think it felt like there were 2 ensembles of characters going on at once in this movie, but just so much stuff was happening. This movie kind of felt like, I'm thinking humor-wise right now, this movie kind of felt like that one friend or that one guy, we all have that one friend or one guy or 2 friends or more friends if we're that lucky or unlucky, who starts out really funny, who finds that niche of jokes, finds that niche of humor, and can do it over and over and over, and can do it with great comedic timing every single time over and over, who's super funny and super great, has all the great jokes. But the more that they keep doing it, and kind of the less that they evolve their humor, or the less that they try other kinds of humor, or take a break from their humor and then drop more jokes. But that kind of friend who starts out super funny and just keep going and going and going and drops the joke and drops the joke and drops the humor. That was kind of me with this movie, like more James Gunn humor and more like people dying type of humor, or someone is like super happy and heroic and they get stomped down or killed down or something like that. And like I lost laughs and lost kind of the humor and the chuckling moments after about halfway through the movie or so. I didn't find it that, I mean, it was chuckly funny. I could tell exactly which jokes were being made, but I just wasn't laughing that much, and I felt like this movie kind of overstayed its welcome a little bit. It's just over 2 hours, 2 hours and 15 minutes. It just felt like more more and more and more and more stuff was happening. And like, even though there were only like 3 like big chunks of the story that the characters had to get done, like the last chunk in the movie felt like a very long part of the movie. This movie felt more like 2.5 hours, a little bit longer than that. Like the last mission that the characters have felt like this very long stretch of stuff to do, and this very long stretch of like destroying things, or like there are 3 or 4 things that happen one after another big thing and after another big thing, and I realized, oh, we're still in this building and we're still doing this one mission. Nothing has changed. We're not like somewhere else. Like we're still doing this one long mission that we're on. But I don't know. I think like, let's see. I'm trying to sort through. Maybe I can go back to the positives really quick. Super fun and super great action, and this movie knows what it is. This movie, and obviously the director, are aware of the past movie that came before it, and like really wanted to correct from all the stuff that we really didn't like from the first Suicide Squad movie. Obviously one of the big sins of the first Suicide Squad movie was the like on-the-nose video gamey introductions to the characters, whatever you want to call it, where it's like, this character, all these stats next to him, this character, Bloodshot, and Diablo was another example. Here are all these stats, just these long introductions to each of these characters. I'm also staying spoiler-free, trying to stay as spoiler-free as I can in this in these reviews, in these first impression type of reviews. This movie doesn't do any of that stuff, and it goes at a really cool and brisk pace and kind of move things along, character, somewhere at the beginning or so. So it cuts the long, ridiculous introductions that we really didn't like in the first Suicide Squad movie. Is that someone else? No, not in the car. Okay, and great action, really fun action. I love the action in the first half of the movie where the characters first go into combat and that sort of stuff. Really great action and a lot of funny gore sequences and a lot of funny character moments. It was really funny getting to know kind of each of the characters' superpowers and some of the new and quirky superpowers with some of the new characters who we are introduced to. So really cool stuff and really funny stuff. There's a really interesting and neat parent and child dynamic, I think, between a couple of characters, from a main character to another character. There's an interesting parent and child dynamic that's introduced somewhat briefly in like a scene or two, and then kind of pops up here and there in the rest of the movie. So some really good and helpful and effective character labeling in the movie with a handful of characters or so. Not so much with everybody, but especially with the main one. Some extra and helpful character depth and character dimensions and character layers with some of the main characters in the movie, and felt more fleshed out and I guess more human, and more of a psyche and more baggage and more backstory that the characters are dealing with. So, I mean, honestly, lots more positives to go into with this movie. Like I said, not bad by any means. I don't think it's really that bad by any means. Nothing major to complain with. There's nothing, I'm not coming out of the theater like, oh, this movie, so much I would change. There's not a whole lot I would change. However, saying all that, like I said, it's just good enough. I found myself really bored, actually, by like the last act or so. The last, I don't know, I'm gonna call it the last hour. Even though it was only like probably 45 minutes or so I felt bored. I'll call it like the last hour. I felt really bored, things kind of dragging on. The starfish stuff I found kind of weird, and that dragging stuff on and on and on more and more, and kind of adding the cliche of what a supervillain might do, again without spoiling anything, but what the starfish does and what I think another villain is trying to do, and how the starfish is trying to take over people, well, not the world, but take over people or whatever, felt kind of cliched and just felt goofy and looked goofy, especially on screen, and looked weird. I wasn't super into it. I don't know. It didn't work that well for me. And then that part of the starfish part of the movie really dragged on. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. This movie kind of dragged on for me. I didn't care that much. I was honestly pretty bored during the last major chunk of the movie. I mean, it was fine. It's a decent movie. It's a great movie. I love that it's getting really good reviews. I love that people are loving this movie and that this movie is doing really well for critics and hopefully box office and all that good stuff. I don't know if I would rewatch it. I mean, I don't know if I would rewatch it anyway, but I mean, it was fine. I gave it the watch. I know everything, and I saw the spoilers and everything. Now I can watch everything on YouTube and all that fun stuff. It was fine. It was okay. I will give The Suicide Squad a B-. okay, it's getting very hot in my car, so I need to run off and go home and cool off and probably go to bed. Well, maybe not go to bed super right away. It's only 11:24. Maybe I'll work on editing this video or so. Anyway, if you haven't seen Suicide Squad, don't worry too much about my negativity in this review. I think you'll enjoy it. Everybody else will enjoy it. Go ahead and watch this movie. Give it a try. Give money over to James Gunn. I think he could use it and deserve it after all the garbagey stuff that, what was it, that Disney was dealing with him because of the Twitter stuff. Anyway, give your money to James Gunn, give your money to this great improvement of a movie over the previous movie, and go enjoy it and go watch it. For the rest of you who have watched and hopefully enjoyed this movie a little bit more, what did you think? Go ahead and let me know in the comments below. Like this video if this review was decent enough and helpful enough to you as it is. If you like more movie topics and more creative videos, I have a couple of short films and a lot of creative videos on my channel. Hit the subscribe button if you like movie stuff and filmmaker type of stuff. I also saw Nicolas Cage's Pig and The Green Knight earlier this month, or like last week this month, and I really want to do some kind of review for those two movies, so hopefully look forward to those. Otherwise, I'll talk about more of those in my movie roundup monthly movie talk video coming out at the end of this month. So with all of that stuff, hope you enjoyed this movie going into it, and until later, watch great movies and go make your own movies.